just in this webinar for you guys who are in this webinar. Now, I'm welcoming you into my studio. And my studio is set up a lot like now my church setup, which I'm going to show you on this screen. So as we get into this webinar, you're going to see this screen right here. We're going to talk about how to set up and the 3 tiers of doing a successful live stream setup. I do have an outline. We're going to go through this outline. And first of all, I just want to pray for you. I'm going to pray over you guys. Lord, I pray that you bless this church, this YouTuber, this person who's sitting with me today, trying to work on their craft, their talent, their ability to hopefully give you glory, God. I pray for their live stream, for their setup, for their whole business, everything they're doing. Bless it in Jesus' name, amen. Now, remember, stick around to the very end. I've got a lot of resources for you, and at the end, I'm going to give you guys a super killer deal, a great offer in this webinar. It's more training and everything you can do. So first of all, successful live streaming, and my wife said it's like streaming without screaming. Yeah, I mean, because most of you guys are just like, I want to scream my face off. You know, if you're trying to do live streaming, I know how you feel. I'm very semi-new to live streaming. I've been a musician my whole life, and I've been YouTubing and doing all this stuff, but then COVID hit and live streaming just, man, bam, we had to do live streaming. So as I said, we're going to get into this whole setup, and I'm going to show you exactly how our church is doing it and how you can replicate this. Also, in this whole setup, I have this phone right here connected to OBS Studio, and you can actually see my ATEM Mini Pro, which we're going to talk about. My MacBook is set up. You can see how my lights are and everything like that. So we're gonna get into that. And I'm gonna give you show you the graph. Then I'm gonna show you how I'm doing this. All right. First of all, though, you can do it. Number one, be patient. Okay. Get better every single week. One of the best tips that I can give you right now in the front of this is just don't think that one day you're going to just show up and be live streaming and it's going to be just happening and everything's going to be easy. It's not going to happen like that. I'm going to show you the tiers that have to be in place. Be patient and keep working. Keep researching and keep tweaking. That is really one of the biggest keys. Keep tweaking and doing everything you can to make this live streaming thing work for you. You may get everything all set up. You have all these multi-cameras, you have all this stuff, and then your audio is just all out of sync. You know, so you may find that happening. And I'm actually recording this and I'm live streaming this all at once. My CPU is at 55%, which is higher than normal, and that's something I haven't done on this setup lately. So I'm going to see how that works. And so every time you do something, you're tweaking and getting a little better. Number 2, so first, you can do it. You can do it. It's going to take some time and you're going to have to get better. You can do it on a small budget. I'm going to talk about that. I'll show you some of that budget stuff as we get into it. You don't need $6,000 cameras on every angle. In fact, our church is doing this, and I'll show you this with a couple $100s a piece cameras. Okay, it can be done. And if you get the right cameras, set them, do the right things, set the right things, it sounds amazing and looks amazing for fractions of the big cost. All right, so second of all, team. You want to put a team around you. If you're a pastor, now if you're like a YouTuber and you're just a single guy, then you are the team, and so you have a little bit of a chance to kind of set this up. If you're a pastor, you're a church, worship leader, then you've got a band on stage, a sound guy, a pro presenter thing, all the stuff that we're going to talk about. You want to put a team around you, and I suggest having 3 team members at least when you're setting it up. Sound guy, somebody who knows what they're doing, not just a regular person just moving around sound things, a really good sound guy. A video guy, somebody that kind of knows about video and kind of can tell you about white balance and exposure and lenses and just camera stuff. That's really important. Camera stuff wasn't my forte, but a lot of research and obsession, and now I'm feeling pretty confident about my skills and understanding cameras. Okay, and number 3, you're gonna want like a pro presenter guy. So churches, we're using this pro presenter program. So you want a guy that's just working on the pro presenter side of things, so that you have now 3 people in the booth. Okay, that could be 3 separate people, but you want to have a team. Okay, so make sure you're not trying to do this all by yourself. All right, let's get into equipment, which equipment is really basically what you have, what you need, and your budget. Those 3 things are really key. What you have. when we started live streaming, we have this setup now. Okay, so this is the setup we have. I think I'll turn this on now and let you see this. I want to show you, this is what we have right now. So we have, and I'll talk about cameras and stuff, but we had a lot of this equipment going in. Even though we weren't live streaming at all, we had a lot of this stuff. Like we already had the Behringer mixer over here. We already had the digital mixer. We already had an iMac over here running something. We had 2 iMacs. We already had this iMac. We already had a camera. One of our guys had a few cameras. We already had, some stuff around. We already had a main sound system. We already had some room mics, but we didn't have them all kind of set up to do exactly what we wanted to do. But you got to know what you need, and then you have to, unless you just have an incredible budget, you have to know what you absolutely have to need. What you have and what you need. What you need that you don't have is important, because if you don't have it and you need it, you can't do it. So like if you don't have the A10 Mini Pro switcher, then you can't switch 4 cameras, without that stuff. So this is going to take equipment. This is going to take equipment, and knowing what you need up front is good. So know what your budget is too. So let's say I have a $2,000 budget, so you know that you're going to have to make this stretch, and you're going to have to buy piece by piece, and you're going to have to buy smaller, more inexpensive cameras. And so, for example, we have 3 cameras. I'm going to show you, like for example, our second angle camcorder is a Sony, H405 or something. And I have a list of all my gear, but it's basically what I use in my studio. This is a second angle camera, okay, and it's an inexpensive webcam, And so this camera here is my #1 camera, Sony A6000, and that is the more expensive camera. So that's the one that you see. That's the one that you see right here, okay? But I don't have 4 of those because it would have cost me like $3,000. So instead, I bought that one used. I got a killer deal, like $250. Can you guys believe that? That camera killer deal on Facebook Marketplace. I just look and watch until I see it. And then these Sony HD cameras that are usually like $200, I got those on Facebook Marketplace too. So this one right here, so $40, $40. Usually they're on eBay all day for $200. So if you have a little bit of time and you're savvy with Facebook Marketplace and YouTube or eBay, then yeah, just go for the inexpensive cameras up front. So, because you're going to look at this whole setup and you're going to go, okay, I need all this stuff. I need 3 cameras now because I want different angles. I want a close angle. Okay, I've got a digital mixer. I've got that. And so you just have to know what you need and what you have to have. Okay, and before I go into the full setup of this, let me just tell you this one thing. Don't take yourself too seriously in these early days. Don't take it so seriously. If you do, then you just sort of freak out, and you might be basically like paralysis by analysis. You ever heard that? We're just thinking so much about every little thing that we just don't do anything. I applaud my team at the church at Spring Hill because we didn't do that. They started out literally on a laptop and they said, okay, that wasn't the greatest quality, so next week we're going to try this, and pretty soon we said every week we're going to get a little better. We had a very tight budget because we were moving into a new building. We had all kinds of obstacles in COVID. We had all the obstacles you can imagine, but we just said every week we're going to get a little better, and every week we do get a little better. Now, remember I talked about the team of 3 people. We're all getting better. So I was getting better with the audio, and my guy over here, Jeremy, he was getting better with the video, and the guy over there was working on upgrading ProPresenter. So if this would have been a single man show, like a one guy trying to set all this up, it would have been screaming. I would have been screaming my face off, because each part of this can be very technical. Each little piece of this, like syncing the digital mixer to the Logic, can be technical, and you got to kind of know Logic, and you got to kind of know the mixer. And I spent a lot of time researching. Even though I knew both items, I was like, okay, well, how do I make it do this? Okay, so that's why team's important. Knowing what you have, starting out, not taking yourself too seriously, put together a team. Now that's the key. Let's go on, and I'm gonna get involved in some more of the technical setup, because you're like, okay, I got it all. I got the team. I've got a little bit of budget, and what am I gonna do? How am I gonna set this up? So before I go to the graph, I think it would be cool if I just I've done this on my YouTube channel before. I'll show you my setup that I'm doing right here today. Now I'm live streaming this right now, and using this iPhone thing that you can actually do. So watch this. I have set up now, and this is similar to what my church does, but this I have a basically an audio mixer, okay? I'm using a overhead mic. I've got some lights over there. I've got camera angles, one there. I've got the Sony here, and I'm packing up right now, so it's kind of messy. I got another Sony there. I got a big old monitor right here that I'm going to show you. When I cut to my monitor, it'll be that. And then I have the ATEM Mini Pro ISO mixer and some guitar picks, okay? Now this is the basic setup. If I took this same setup right here and I took it to my church, if I just took this completely, this is similar to what we have here, only at my church we have a couple more different details, and so let's dive into those. So that's everything I have right here to do a couple angles. And you know what, that camera over there ran out of batteries just before I started, so I was like, whatever. I only have 2 camera angles to show you today, 1 and 2, and I can switch those very simply. And then I have this set up to do this. So let's dive in. The rest of the webinar is going to talk about the 3 tiers: the sound, the video, and the pro presenter. Okay, those are my 3 tiers. And the pro presenter for you guys, if you're YouTubers, could possibly be like your HDMI screen share, which is what I'm on right now. So I actually use one of my inputs as an HDMI screen share. Okay. All of this is available on the links in the description, so you can actually download this from my website. Okay? So if you go to, let's see, right here, you can download this right here. And see, right now it's $0. You can download this template, and it would be amazing. All right, so first of all, I'm going to start with the audio chain. I'm an audio guy, and so this is where it's going to get a little technical. Hang in there with me. At the end, I'm going to show you something that will help you train your team. Now, I know I talked about team, and you're going to need a team. And in order to get this team up to par, you're going to need to train them, and I have some incredible resources for you in that vein of training. So we have a Behringer X32 digital mixer, and the problem that I've had when I started making this chart was I realized there's about 10 different ways to do this, and everybody's going to do it a little different. So you're going to have to do it the way you feel comfortable. I'm showing you how we currently have it set up, and in more of my foundational training, I can talk, and on my YouTube channel, about different ways and how we did it, and I show you all kinds of behind the scenes stuff of me mixing. I show you, videos of me critiquing my mix. So first of all, we have a Behringer X32 digital mixer, which is phenomenal, and for the price, I don't think that you could beat it. I think it's amazing. It does some seriously high-end things that you really do want to get. So first of all, if you're going big and you're a church, a digital mixer is good. If you're small and you're a YouTuber like me, then you could get this Zoom LiveTrack L12 or L8, and I have those. Those are phenomenal. Okay, even for a small church, you could do that. So you got your digital mixer, and you're going out to the front of the house. Okay, front of house would be what the people hear. Okay, right here I have a room mic. I'm going to zoom in on this audio stuff. Right now I have a room mic set up, and it's very key. Okay, I talk more about this in my training, really deep training, but a room mic is totally key. You got your X32 mixer. Okay, it's going in USB connect out to Logic as an audio interface. Okay, so you're connecting this to Logic on an iMac. Okay, and in between here, you can go straight over USB into your Mac, which is what I did for the first couple weeks. Or now, like we're doing now, we're using an actual, 2-channel USB input device. So like any of the USB input devices you can use to get into your computer, like basically an audio interface. Okay. Now you're going to mix in Logic. And this is your broadcast mix. You listen to your headphones, you're listening to Logic, you're doing that, and then you're going to send it over your broadcast mix audio into the ATEM audio switcher, which is that little black box I showed you with the lights on it. Now this little switcher is going to take your audio in here, and it's also going to take your 3 or 4 cameras in there. Okay, so let me zoom out and show you the cameras. Up here you're going to have 3 or 4 cameras coming in to your ATEM Mini Pro video switcher. Now if they're really far away, you're going to have a cable, Cat6 HDMI extender, and that's okay. It just basically allows you to put a camera really far away from your switcher. If you're a really big room, you're going to have these little extender boxes and run this with Cat6, and then there's another box here. You can learn more about those. Just go to Amazon and type in Cat6 HDMI extender. You'll see everything about that. So we take 3 cameras, plug them into our ATEM Mini, and then basically that's that. So then let's say what else. So And that's what we do. So the sound is the first setup. So once you get your sound set up, and let me just talk to you about the sound, and then I'll move into that video, because I kind of skipped into video. I'm kind of going through my chart. You do not want to take the left-right channel off your mixing board and just put it into the ATEM Mini or put it into your broadcast. It will sound terrible, okay? And if you're already doing that, that could be why you're watching this video. I mean, a lot of guys wait till they've done that and then they go, I gotta switch this. You know, like one of my buddies was like saying that people in the church are saying, hey, you gotta fix this. If you're just taking the left, right out of your board, or the left or right, and sticking it into the Facebook Live mix, it's gonna sound terrible. Your vocals won't have enough reverb. Everything's gonna sound like a mess, okay? So in my opinion, this first setup is to get the Logic mixer, or if you don't have the Logic mixer, and I'll just go ahead and I was gonna add this on here anyway. If you can't think of doing the Logic mixer, if you can't think of getting the Logic to mix, the other thing you can do is you can actually use, and I'm gonna write it on here, I'm gonna actually add it to this. You can use a bus mix, okay? And I used bus 8, but you can actually use a bus mix, and then that bus mix could go over here instead, okay? So I don't want to spend too much time making my chart on here, but basically that's what you could do. So you could use a bus mix instead, okay? So basically with that, you would take the bus out of the board and you go straight in there. Now what that means is you can actually mix on an aux. It's an auxiliary or a bus mix, so it's a separate mix, and you can do that with one person, okay? But if you can swing it, use a DAW, a digital audio workstation like Logic, Pro Tools, any of those ones. Studio One, I think we're using now. One of our guys is using Studio One on our streams when he's running. Okay, so but really, I like Logic, and it's $199. You can put it on any Mac. It's really easy to learn and train on. So that's what I like to use. Then we have. So let's go to video now. So we have our cameras. I already talked about sort of the cheaper cameras, more expensive cameras. And this whole video isn't really just about cameras. This is about the actual setup, okay? So you take your 3 cameras, you plug them into the ATEM Mini Pro, and then basically you can get them extended, and then you can literally just go like this and touch the buttons, okay? And it goes from camera to camera. Now I only have 2 cameras because my 3rd camera's battery died today, right before I started this whole thing, okay? So 2 cameras, very easy to do. With the ATEM Mini audio, check this out with it. You can actually go dip to color dissolve, and you can go like this, so when you go to the next camera, it does some nice transitions. Okay, it isn't my favorite transitions ever. You can do this where it slides over, and this is all just me just doing this right here to you. You can fade to a drop down. You can squeeze it over. I mean, just one little button, I'm changing all this. What I really like to do is a dip to color, and I like to do it as fast as possible. That's a half a second dip. And then if you want to, you can fade to black. Basically, you can do that. All of this stuff on the ATEM Mini Pro, you can do. The other things, oh, you want to come back to fade to black? There we go. All right, so now, what you can do with the ATEM Mini Pro ISO is you can do a lot. You can basically, this external hard drive here, so we have an external hard drive, and this is, I'm going to geek out on the ATEM Mini Pro for a minute, okay? Basically, this little box right here, this little black box. And maybe I'll just show it to you through my iPhone. Okay, so I'm actually using OBS in my studio, so I can actually do a little bit more with this stuff. But this is the ATEM Mini Pro ISO, and so when you look at this, you can actually stream right to Facebook from here. So if I clicked on air, it would go to streaming. Now I'm streaming with OBS, so I don't have to do that. The second thing you can do is you can hit record, and it records to a external hard drive. It records all of your inputs. All of your inputs are recorded. Okay, and then you can also do keying and stuff. And also, at the end of the day, when you're done doing all that, what the brilliant thing is, when you're done doing all of that, the ATEM Mini Pro ISO version records all of your cameras separately, puts them into a DaVinci Resolve project, and then you can actually post-production edit it. So if you're not ready to full out live stream, or let's say you're a church in the country where you want to do your services or your music, but you can't get enough bandwidth to live stream, you can actually do everything like a live stream on Sunday morning. You can have them switching, you can have all the videos going. It records a product, basically a full production. It records the master volume, like the master production. Then it records everything separately, so you can go back and post-production edit it. Boom! Mind is blown on that, because now you have all of this post-production opportunity, okay? Also with Logic, you could hit record and post-production mix your whole band. I mean, with the setup I'm showing you right here, you have full production live switching studio, and each piece of this will record each section. So you get a 24 channel recording on Logic, and you get a 4 channel recording on the A10 Mini Pro ISO, and then you go to production and you could sit there for a couple days, and on Wednesday you could release your live stream, or you could release your church service, you release your YouTube video, however you're going to do it. All right, so in the A10 Mini Pro, also what you need is a monitor, a small monitor to view the program. Okay, so you're going to come out HDMI out and put a small monitor in here. Now this stuff is all, pretty self-explanatory when you're doing this. Like for me, my little camera is right there. And then I have like a little, underneath it I have a little 7-inch monitor. Okay, now this big monitor is for me to see my second computer screen. But this is basically just, my camera, and then right underneath it, it went over to right underneath it is a little thing. So you set that on your desk, and whoever's mixing your live stream would be watching that monitor and know what's coming up. It's a full-out live switching setup. I mean, it's so phenomenally awesome. I can't believe how awesome it is. All right, so I can just keep talking about how awesome this thing is. Let's basically go and talk about ProPresenter very quickly, and then I'm going to show you how to get it out to as many platforms as possible all at once. So if we go over here and we look at this ProPresenter computer. Now, ProPresenter 7, this is really all for the churches. I mean, you could use ProPresenter 7 as a YouTuber, as a blogger and stuff, but I mean, really, this is to produce the words on the screen. Now, with ProPresenter 7, you can run a confidence monitor, so you can run monitors or a back projector, or you can run a main front of house projector. I don't know how many outputs it has because I'm not a ProPresenter expert, but I know that it has at least 4, and it may have unlimited. So however many outputs your computer has, if you get a sound card with like 7 outputs, you could probably have 7 different versions of the screens going to the lobby, one going to the front of house, one. But the key in this setup is one of these outputs lower third lyrics to the live stream via the A10 Mini HDMI 4 input. Okay. Now, one of my friends today said he doesn't do this with. I'm going to reset this line. He doesn't do this with. I knew it was going to do that. Watch it. I need it to be clean. I want it to be cleaner. Okay. He doesn't do it with the HDMI input. He does it through NDI. Okay. So you can do that. And I started watching some videos, and I was, oh yeah, you can use NDI, and you can use OBS, and you can kind of mix all these together. But in this simple setup, if you're just going to use the A10 Mini Pro ISO, you're going to go out of ProPresenter and into the 4th output in the A10 Mini Pro. Then you're going to set up a scene in ProPresenter, a special scene to say lower thirds. So anything that you put on the main front of house projector, if it's really big, like it's a big set of, so you put up in your main projector like big words going all the way down, it's going to take those words and it's going to format them to a lower third, and it's going to show up down here on your 4th input. So, or you can use that picture-in-picture or that key. You're going to use a key to stick it on there. It's going to have a transparent background, and you're going to put it on the 4. Okay, so there's going to be some technical stuff to do in the A10 Mini Pro ISO, and actually I need to ask Jeremy about that because he's the one that's doing that. But basically, you can come in to an HDMI 4 and you can overlay it over your picture. That's the key. Okay, so that's what you can do. Okay, now it's going to get a little more technical than that probably in the setup. So you're going to have to tell the A10 Mini Pro to do that and to make it happen. It may be an upstream key or downstream key function, but it's set. You can set it up on your computer. Okay. So that is basically that. Let's go now to the final. So those are your 3 tiers that I really wanted to talk about, and I want to go to this final thing, which is super important. So hang on right there. This is very important. This isn't the special offer or whatever. This is you going now to the internet. So live streaming has to have a stream key, and this is where I always got confused being an audio guy. I'm like, a stream key? What in the world are you talking about? I don't like. Just kind of blew my mind. And like YouTube and Facebook and all these have different setups. So you got to go into the A10 Mini Pro because it streams for you, and you put in a stream key from Facebook. Okay, so you'd go to Facebook and get your little key. You come over to the A10 Mini, you put a key. It's not that hard to do once you see it. It's a stream key. It's basically a protocol saying this little digital key is going to take this thing and send it to your Facebook page. Okay, so look at this picture right here. You have the A10 Mini Pro video switcher out. There isn't a Cat 6 out of this. You can go straight to your live stream. You can put your key in Facebook. Now that's for you guys who want to just Facebook stream, but I want more, okay? I want so much more. Right now, during this live stream, I'm streaming to 6 platforms simultaneously by pushing one button. I hit one button to go live, either on the Mini Pro or on OBS, and I'm on 6 platforms. Now, if your church or your YouTube channel or your niche business or your blogging, if you can reach 6 platforms at the same moment, why would you not? So I challenge you, go to the next step, and that is starting an account with Restream.io. Now, Restream.io is the one I use, and I love it and I like it. I'm not an affiliate yet. I mean, I guess I could be. So I'm telling you this as a friend, okay? Restream.io. I make no money off this at this point. Restream.io. I don't even know if they have an affiliate program. What's the point? The point is you can put your stream key in Restream.io, and then you can tell it to stream to Facebook page, your Facebook profile, your Facebook group, because that's 3 platforms basically. I mean, it's Facebook, but it's all 3 at once. Your YouTube channel, your Twitch page. So yeah, churches aren't really Twitchers, but you could go get a Twitch account. It's really easy to set up. Then you're streaming to Twitch. Think of all the people you could reach with your message, with either your business or the gospel. And then on Twitter, Periscope, and I think that's the last one I'm on. So I'm on 6 different ones at once. Now you could do more. You can do so many more, and I probably should. I should probably up it to 10, right? I mean, I should probably quit just doing the 6. I should probably just go to do 10, and you should do that too. So now we have this whole setup. We have everything. We got cameras coming in, and what I said earlier was when you're thinking about budget, let's say you get to this point right here, and you go, you know what? This camera angle over here, I don't like the camera as much. It's a $199 camera, or I got the camera for $49. It's definitely not as good as this camera here. It's not as good as that camera. So I don't like it anymore. So you know what you can do? Go over to Facebook Marketplace, sell that camera, and buy another $600 camera and put it there. So you can systematically, one by one, update your cameras, okay? That's most important. You can update your audio. You can say, our band's going to get better. Obviously, your band's going to get better if they're practicing. So you can upgrade things. You know, you can get a bigger hard drive. You could add OBS. You could do so many things extra. Okay. You can do so many things extra. So make sure that you get the free mix template, Logic mix template, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you get the free chart that we talked about today. And then I want to give you guys one chance here. I have a webinar special, and there are 2 different versions of this. Number 1 is it's all access for your church. So if you're a church or a small company and you want all access to this for you and your employees or your church and all of your things, we have something called Audio and Livestream Foundations. Okay, and here it is. Sorry, you were looking at me. Audio and Tech Livestream Foundations. Now, usually this is $4.99. So in this webinar right here, I'm giving you this option to buy this for $229 today, or to pay just $29 and get 3 monthly payments of $99. So it makes it a little more, like three something. But it's affordable for you now. This is all of the training for live streaming, for audio, for mixing, compression, EQ. If you think about all those volunteers in your church who aren't really sure what to do, where to do, how to do, this is the kind of thing that once you buy this, Audio Foundations, any of our Foundations programs are for the entire church, unlimited access. They create their own account through your code, and they're in, and then they can go and they can train, okay? And so you have this option. This is all about audio things. So I'm making these ongoing live streaming, broadcast mixing, Logic Pro, live stream sessions. We're getting more into cameras, more into all that stuff. And we're making videos every day. All of these are accessed through a course format. And so you can go check out the courses, you can watch the videos, you can download little things, and most importantly, you can share this with your tech team, and you can say, hey, we got to get on board with this. We got to get, if somebody comes in, they want to be a mixer for your church, you can say, well, you need to go through, the Foundations 1, the first 10 videos, so that you know how to run a mixing board. You understand signal flow. You know how to do a sound check. You know how to set a gain. You know how to do all those things for your church. That's the kind of stuff that kills you. Not doing the foundational things right, it kills the whole thing. I mean, for example, if you get all of this stuff set up And then your guy that's mixing your live stream doesn't understand how to set gains, and he sets everything too high and blows out the signal, and you got this red peak the whole time. It's gonna ruin the entire live stream. I see it happen all the time. It's gonna ruin the live stream. It's gonna ruin everything. One guy. So the investment you're gonna make in all this equipment, I really think it's wise to make an investment in training. I always said continual and intentional training. It's important to build up people and to do this training. You have to do training. This is the most affordable way to do training. Now, if you're, so I encourage you to take this offer. You can actually click on the link. You can buy it for now, or you can do 3 monthly payments. It's a little cheaper if you just pay the whole thing up front, but I understand if you're on a budget, you want to get a little bit at a time. Look, that's the price. That is the price of just maybe, half of a decent camera, half of a camera. You're going to have this training forever, for unlimited time, for any new beginner that comes into your church, and it is a massive, massive amount of opportunity and information, and it's growing all the time. Now, second of all, if you have a full band, let me show you this one. Because if you have a full band and you need a drummer, you need a bass player, you got everybody coming in, I want to play the bass and I want to sing and I want to do all this stuff. As a leader in your church, as a worship guy, you have to train all those people. Well, we have this right now available to you. This is Worship the King, Worship Band Builder Foundations Team All Access. This includes acoustic guitar and vocals, vocal foundations, drum foundations, bass foundations, piano foundations, electric guitar foundations, all of these, theory foundations for music, audio tech foundations with live streaming, and audition sessions so they can actually get ready to be auditioned by you, and we teach you how to do all that. Again, this is one price for the whole church. It includes the audio tech and live stream foundations. So you get it all, and you can get it all for $9.99. So that's just, or you can pay just $99 today and 10 monthly payments of $99. You can get this offer today. This is a very special offer. This usually goes for $2,275. So I'm here to tell you, you can save money now and you can train. If you're not training, I know as a leader myself, as a worship leader, for many years, training was the number one obstacle in every ministry area I ever took, ever. The biggest problem was I didn't have enough trained people to do what I wanted to do always. So always I was training. I was always going through and getting more people, trying to get more people, trying to get them to train and do stuff with me. You can do this too. I'm here for you. Worship the King, Worship Band Builder Foundations. There are hours and hours and hours and hours and charts and books, everything. If you go to the website and just look at worshiptheking.com, that's the platform that you actually learn on. So if you go over here, I'm probably taxing my computer up right here. If you go over to worshiptheking.com and you click on courses, you'll be able to see individually. You can surely buy individual courses, but you'll save so much money with the team access. You'll be able to do all of these guitars, the catapults, the electric guitar, all of these. A lot of these are bundled into the foundations. And then also bass. I mean, I can just keep going. Also, we do very simple songbooks. A lot of this stuff is included when you get into the all bundle foundations, okay? And a lot of this is even free. All right, I've said my piece today. I want you to succeed. I want you to know that, when you succeed, you're succeeding for your whole community. If you do a great live stream, then people that can't come to church because of COVID, people that can't come to church right now because of family members. I mean, before we had like a shut-in ministry, but now it's like half of the country is shut in. You have to succeed. There's no real option here to just be like willy-nilly, let it happen how it happens. If you're a leader, if you're in charge of this, whether you're a lay leader or a full-time leader, it's important. It's up on you to succeed. I'm here for you to help you do it. I'm doing as much as I possibly can. My brain's working a million miles an hour. I'm continually creating these things, but you have to grab a hold of them and say, I can do this. I can take this chart. I can go on YouTube. I can read these things. I can figure this out. I can make this happen for me, because it's not just for you. It's for your community, your church, your family, and everybody that's relying on you as a leader to help propel the gospel forward. And if you're not doing this as a church, they'll say you're just here, you're like, I'm just doing a YouTube channel, dude. You're propelling your business forward. You're propelling your life goals forward when you're succeeding in these things. And you can do that. Click the buttons below. Make sure before these offers are completely over, they'll just go back to the normal price whenever they do, whenever the offer is over. It'll be over, but I want you to get it. So don't wait. If you're ready to do it, make this your first purchase in that line. If you're trying to make this happen, this will save you a ton of time, a ton of money. When you look at this stuff, you'll be like, oh yeah, now I know that. Because a lot of the stuff you might buy and be like, well, I didn't need that, or I picked the wrong system. And if you do that, it's big trouble. One of my buddies sent me a link the other day, and he said, hey, I'm looking to do this live stream thing. What do you think about this piece of gear? And I looked at it, was a switcher controller. It was $3,000. It was either $2,500 or $3,200. It was like in the $2,000 or $3,000 range. It was just for one controller. And so that's when I called him and said, hey, dude, listen, look at this. Look at these cameras. Look at this. Look what we're doing here. He's like, oh, yeah, well, that's totally way better, because he's thinking the budget can be totally like blown out of proportion for what you have to do to succeed. Now, if you're into that, there's nothing wrong with spending $20,000. There's nothing wrong with spending $50,000 on a streaming setup, or there's nothing wrong with that if you have it. But I know most churches, especially small churches, are not going to do that. So spending $3,000 on a motorized switcher camera controller may not be the best when you look at it in this whole scenario. Like, it may be much better to put Logic down and get a really good audio. Because what if you have a really awesome like camera that's like zooming and tilting on the pastor, and it's like $4,000 switcher zoomer, and you got a tilter camera and stuff. One camera is amazing, and then your audio is off the left-right channel of your board. I mean, it's off lopsided. They'll be like, people will turn it off. So that's what I'm saying. You got to be realistic at the overall inset when you start this, and that's what I'm here to help you guys do. God bless you. Thank you for sticking around for this webinar. You can replay it anytime. Make sure you let me know what you're doing. Let me know. Go to the website. Click on the little blue button down here on the website, right down here at the blue button. Click that up and let me know what's going on. I will usually answer you right away. It comes straight to my phone, and it's going to be an amazing thing. I pray that God blesses you. He puts you on a path to great success and makes it amazing. I'll see you guys